Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 5th of July. Indian Finance Minister presents Union Budget 2019 in Parliament. US Secretary of State says hour has come for peace in Afghanistan. And millions gather for ancient chariot festival in eastern India. And now for all the details. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday unveiled the Union Budget for the financial year 2019-20 aimed at boosting infrastructure and foreign investment. This is the first budget since the Bharatiya Janata Party led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi returned for a second term in power.
Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday arrived at the Parliament in New Delhi carrying the budget papers for the financial year 2019-20. Sitharaman presented the Union Budget in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament, seeking to reverse weakening growth and investment. The Finance Minister announced several streamlines across labour laws, education and rental housing segment, which will have a direct impact on startups in the country.
Vision for the decade. Our economy was at approximately $1.85 trillion when we formed the government in 2014. Within 5 years, it has reached $2.7 trillion. Hence, it is well within our capacity to reach the $5 trillion in the next few years.
In the budget speech, the Finance Minister said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government will streamline multiple labour laws, liberalise FDI in aviation, media and state-run banks to get $10,184.7 million capital to boost credit. Lower 25% corporate tax will apply on companies with up to $58.15 million turnover. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi described the Union Budget as citizen-friendly, development-friendly and future-oriented.
ये देश को समृद्ध और जन जन को समर्थ बनाने वाला बजट है। इस बजट से गरीब को बल मिलेगा, युवा को बेहतर कल मिलेगा।
This is the maiden budget of the Modi government after coming to power for the second time. Union Budget, also referred to as Annual Financial Statement of the government, details its revenue and expenditure in the past as well as estimated spending and projections for the coming year.
A terrorist was gunned down by security forces in an encounter in Shopian district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Friday. Police said the slain terrorist, who belonged to Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen terror group, was involved in several cases pertaining to civilian killings and attacks on security establishments.
Security forces on Friday gunned down a terrorist in an encounter in Shopian district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The encounter broke out after a cordon and search operation was launched by security forces upon specific inputs about the presence of terrorists in the Narwani area of Shopian district. As the search operation was underway, the hiding terrorists fired at the search party. In the ensuing gunfight, one terrorist was killed, police said. Meanwhile, search operations were still underway in the area till the last reports came in. This comes after Indian security forces killed a terrorist in a similar gunfight in Budgam district of the province on Sunday. India has long blamed neighbouring Pakistan of arming and infiltrating terrorists across the border to mount attacks on Indian soil. Pakistan, however, denies the allegations.
Moving on. Prominent Kashmiri activist Jamil Masood recently criticized Pakistan for violating the UN resolutions on Kashmir by plundering natural resources in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Speaking at the UNHRC session in Geneva, Masood highlighted the environmental damage caused due to diversion of rivers by Pakistan in the illegal occupied region.
Secretary of Foreign Affairs of United Kashmir People's National Party, or UKPNP, Jamil Masood, recently highlighted the environmental damage being caused due to the diversion of rivers by Pakistan in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Speaking during the UNHRC session in Geneva earlier this week, Masood highlighted Pakistan's construction of Neelam-Jhelum hydropower project, which has led to a massive water crisis in the illegally occupied territory. He blamed Pakistan for violating the UN resolutions on Kashmir by plundering natural resources and carrying out human rights violations in areas under its illegal occupation.
The construction of these dams has resulted in the diversion of the Neelam and Jhelum rivers. This has created a catastrophic impact on the life and livelihood of the local people. They have either lost their source of water or have had their access to essential water supplies severely diminished.
Pakistan has lately sanctioned multiple projects in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan region that essentially aim to further suppress and marginalize the locals. Any voice of dissent that seeks to resist the exploitative agenda of Pakistan is muzzled with force. Recently, around 60 protesters were manhandled and put behind bars for carrying out a demonstration against the Neelam-Jhelum hydropower project.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that Afghans deserve an end to the ongoing violence and that the hour has come for peace in Afghanistan. His remarks come amid the ongoing backdoor talks between the U.S. and the Taliban in Doha.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that Afghans deserve an end to the ongoing violence and that the hour has come for peace in Afghanistan. Pompeo, in a tweet earlier this week, said that the US remains committed to the Afghan peace process and to helping those who seek a peaceful future. His remarks came amid the ongoing backdoor talks between the US and the Taliban in Doha, which entered their fifth day on Thursday. Pompeo had also met Afghan President Ashraf Ghani during an unannounced visit to Kabul last week to discuss the ongoing peace process and the security situation ahead of the Afghan presidential polls in September. He had expressed hope that there would be a peace deal with the Taliban before September 1. Ghani's Western-backed government has been shut out of negotiations so far due to the Taliban's refusal to deal with what they consider an illegitimate puppet regime.
Sahra Karimi, Director General of Afghan Film, the country's state-run film production company, has said that she is committed to giving a new life to the production company established in 1968. Karimi is the first Afghan woman who was appointed to the coveted post.
Sahra Karimi, Afghan filmmaker who was last month appointed as the first female Director General of Afghan Film, the country's state-run film production company, said that she is committed to giving a new life to the production company. Karimi made the remarks during the 51st anniversary of the production company in capital Kabul on Thursday, which saw the participation of prominent cinema artists and filmmakers. Karimi and other officials also hailed the contribution of those who made efforts to protect the assets of the company during difficult times.
بیشتر از کسایی تقدیر کردیم که در پشت صحنه بودن، یعنی کسایی که مثلا از باغبان، از کسی که تحویلدار است یا اینها، به خاطر اینا کسایی بودن که سالهای عمرشان اینجا گذراندن و مواظب همین ساختمان و مواظب آرشیو و همه چی بودن، حتی در دوره طالبان.
اون شلاق طالبه که ما به دوش خود کشیدیم، اون سیاه روز تاریکی هایی را که در افغانستان ما سپری کردیم، اینا خوشبخت هستن، اینا قدر میشن.
Though the state-run production company was established in 1968, it has not done a considerable activity so far due to the 4 decades of the war in the country.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who is on a 5-day visit to China, met her Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang and held talks in Beijing on Thursday. The two nations also signed 9 instruments in different sectors to bolster bilateral ties.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina met her Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang and held talks in Beijing on Thursday. Li hosted a welcome ceremony for Hasina outside the Great Hall of the People before the pair sat down inside the building for China-Bangladesh bilateral talks. Bangladesh and China signed 9 instruments in different sectors ranging from aid for the Rohingyas and economic and technical cooperation, investment, power, culture and tourism after the bilateral talks. Hasina is on a 5-day visit to China and her visit comes after attending the Summer Davos Economic Forum in Dalian.
A pineapple festival has been organized in India's northeastern Manipur province to provide farmers a platform to sell their produce. Around 110 stalls have been put at the event, offering different varieties of pineapples.
A pineapple festival has been organized in Imphal city of India's northeastern Manipur province to help farmers attain sustainable livelihood. The event aims to provide farmers a platform to sell their produce and enable buyers to promote pineapple as a cash crop in the region. Around 110 pineapple stalls run by several ethnic groups are on display at the event, which are attracting scores of visitors from across the province. Handlooms are also on display at the event.
Lamdam Somdale Vidiva, Shang Niger Kanda Farmarsing, Antabiles Iza Batare Andro constituency. Antabiles de la Vidiva, Imabel, Isanium, Kaipumamaxe. A Billy Zagasi, the Subum Numjika Wapa. Sing is the guys the Subum Numji and Kanda, Sing is the Gata quite again a house on a Kihumweva. I go in diplomat Nasan Andro Kendana, those race way honorable Minister Sam Kumagi, Plantel organization never go in a some.
Authorities often organize such events in Manipur to promote agro-based tourism and horticulture, as the province is blessed with abundant varieties of herbs and medicinal plants. The event, which began on July 4th, will conclude on July 7th.
Scores of people thronged the temple town of Puri in eastern India on Thursday to participate in the famous chariot festival of Hindu Lord Jagannath. The annual festival, which is being celebrated for the past 1,000 years, attracts millions of visitors from across the world.
Huge crowds of devotees gathered in Puri district of India's eastern Odisha province on Thursday to participate in the ancient chariot festival Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. The festival attracts millions from across the world and commemorates the annual journey of Hindu Lord Jagannath, his brother Balram and sister Subhadra in chariots to Gundicha temple, situated over a mile away from the Puri Jagannath temple. Chariots dressed up in bright colors and adorned with flowers were pulled with thick ropes and surrounded by security and devotees as the festival began on Thursday.
So we are really happy to be here, and this is a blessing, this is an opportunity to see our Lord with our own eyes.
तो हमने सिर्फ ईश्वर को इतना बोला था कि आपकी इच्छा हो तो हमको अंदर ले लेना, और सच में हम अंदर आ गए। ना तो हमारे पास कोई पास था और ना कोई कार्ड था, सिर्फ हमने ईश्वर को कहा कि अगर आपकी मर्जी है तो हम सिर्फ रथ से 10 फीट की दूरी पे खड़े थे और काफी बढ़िया दर्शन हुए।
Devotees consider the pulling of the chariots with ropes while chanting hymns a pious deed. A glimpse of Lord Jagannath on the chariot is considered to be very auspicious, and saints, poets and scriptures have repeatedly glorified the sanctity of the festival. It is believed the chariot festival has been celebrated for the last 1,000 years.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Finance Minister presents Union Budget 2019 in Parliament. US Secretary of State says hour has come for peace in Afghanistan. And millions gather for ancient chariot festival in eastern India. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.